Yes, it is Larry Sharpe here on the Sharpe Way Show. I know it is late Friday night. I had a busy day. I apologize for being so late this evening, but I wanted to go live again. Specifically, I know I've been feeling ill. If you saw my show last night, you know I was a bit sick, sneezing, coughing, the whole deal. I'm a little bit sick. I think maybe I caught the flu or something. Everyone seems to have something, but I seem to be better now, which is good. So I figured I'd give myself a shot and try this anyway. It is a little bit past 8:30 p.m. on the East Coast. Way late for me, but it's Friday, so I guess you're not busy tomorrow. I am. I will be off running around New York State tomorrow. I will be in Rochester in the morning around 11. Then I'll be in Utica around 6. Then I will be, I forgot, someplace on Sunday. I'll be in 4 different spots. Check out my Facebook page on my larrysharpe.com/events, and you can see me in those places if you want to. I'll be down. I will also be handing out door knockers, by the way, door hangers, door knockers. You will be a door knocker, and I'll be giving you door hangers if you want to come by and grab a bunch. I will be giving out hundreds of them if you want, so you can hang them on people's doors so they know to write me in on November 8th. So happy to be doing that also. But something special happened yesterday, and they have basically decided that Kathy Hochul is our new savior here in New York State, and she is bringing the state 50,000 new jobs. She's saving us all. You and I know that's not true, but that's what she's going to say. And she did a little press conference on it. She brought Joe Biden. The president showed up. Home run, right? President showed up. Both senators showed up. She was there. The guy who runs Micron was there. I mean, everybody was there. It was great. Everybody was watching it, and look how good it is, right? In Syracuse now, made in America. This is going to be great, isn't it? Haven't we heard this before? I have. I've heard this before. But I want to talk about this because I want you to hear what they say and what they mean and what actually happens and how the average New Yorker who listens to this will go, oh, look at that. New jobs. This is good. But if you listen, it may not be as good as you think. And there's also another issue that I want to bring up also. And if you know it's going to be good, and you know this is going to be good because whenever I do those reactions, it's always good and funny. Of course it is. Like, comment, and share so your friends can see it. And if you're watching me on YouTube and you haven't subscribed, what is wrong with you? Subscribe. You're supposed to do that. That's the rule. Subscribe. If you're on YouTube, do that. If you're on Facebook, follow the page. It matters, you know? Zuckerberg's getting all messed up. If you're on Twitter, follow me on Twitter before Elon gets rid of me or whatever. I don't know. But do the thing. You're supposed to. And of course, always support the page. Our sponsor, the world's smallest political quiz. Head over to theadvocates.org. Take that quiz and share it. It does matter. I know you might think it doesn't. Larry, it's free. What can it do? It makes my sponsors happy, and that's important. So let's keep this show going. Do that. It's free. Just take the quiz. It takes like 2 minutes. That's it. Share the quiz if you can. It's awesome. Do that, please. It does matter. If you want to throw me some cash, that's amazing. I can use every dollar I can. I have to do a push for ads this last week of the campaign. LarrySharpe.com/donate. Every dollar counts. If you can give some, please do that. It is helpful. But as always, like and comment and share. Click that like button. Click the hate button. Click a button. Who cares? So I do want to grab a couple of comments as always, but I do first want to bring up our Lord, our Master, Her Majesty, Queen Kathy, first of her name. Got Biden there, the whole deal.
Good morning, Central New York. No, it's afternoon, isn't it? Just seeing if you're awake. I know some of you have been here since this morning, and I appreciate your patience. I just catching it, see if you're paying attention.
No, she's trying to be funny.
It is so fabulous to be here. I have waited for this day for so long.
Oh, look
and
at that.
I'm so grateful to have extraordinary partners. People in the private
what's amazing?
sector, labor.
She has been in New York State government for over 20 years now? You've been waiting 20 years for this? Okay.
And in government. And that does start with our very own, once a resident of Syracuse, New York, he was a student at the law school, our president, President Joe Biden. I want to thank him.
Now, this part, I know a lot of you might think it's crazy that she does this, right? I think I do. I think you might think it's great. Well, why is she getting behind Biden? Biden's not popular. And that's true, right? And a lot of Democrats are distancing themselves from Biden because he isn't that popular. Obviously, I'm no fan of Kathy Hochul. Clearly, I'm not. But one thing I'll give her is, man, she just leans in. She's like, yep, love him. He's the guy. She leans in. So if you are a Democrat, and if you're watching this as a Democrat, I would assume you like this, right? I mean, I would assume if you're a Democrat, you're watching this, then you would enjoy that she stands behind the party completely. I mean, there's something about it that's actually pretty good. You find, even when you find Republicans who supported Trump, who stand behind Trump, I'm clearly, I don't want Trump to be president. I'd rather have Gary Johnson here. I'm a libertarian, of course, but I don't hate Trump at all. But when she stands behind Biden and when Republicans stand behind Trump, I know it may make some of you cringe, but I actually like it. Like, I like when Giuliani, when Andrew Johnson was running, it was like, Trump's awesome, Trump, because he loves Trump. So he says who he is. He stands by him. She loves Biden. She says she stands by him. You know, I get it. There's something about it I actually like. The wishy-washiness has bothered me. She just jumps on board.
For coming to town, not for a law school reunion, but a reunion of upstate with the glorious past of its manufacturing legacy. That's what the reunion is going on right here today.
Yeah, past.
And we've waited our lives for this. We have waited such a long time to finally.
This is what drives me crazy, that I know people love this. I do. I know people like the feeling of it. But I want you to really think about what she's saying of our manufacturing past. And for those of you who are New Yorkers, particularly upstate New Yorkers, there's a thing that drives me crazy. And that is, if you remember what New York was, those of you who are old enough to remember, you came to New York to be somebody. That's why you came. And you didn't just come to New York City. You came to New York City if you want to be a star, right? If you want to be a star, you came to New York City. But you went to other parts of New York to be somebody. Lots of companies came here. People came here to be somebody. They grew up here, made stuff happen here. Mormonism started here. I mean, a lot of important people started here. I mean, you just see it everywhere. Frederick Douglass was out of Rochester. I mean, so much happened in this state. It's been decades since that's been true. Decades. And she's been in power for decades. It drives me crazy that it's almost like they've just forgotten about it. I haven't, because I don't want to leave New York State. So I do what I do, right? You used to come to New York State to be somebody. Now you leave New York State to be somebody. We should be embarrassed by that. And we shouldn't be doing the things to bribe people to come in. We should be changing our state so that people who are here can be somebody, and that people come here to be somebody. And we don't have that.
We have that sense of hope again, and it happened again. And I want to thank the president and majority leader, Chuck Schumer. If he had not been the majority leader, we would not be sitting here today. I guarantee that.
And that's not a good thing, right? I mean, that's not a good thing. Why do I need for New York to get business, my political party, to run the Senate of America, the United States Senate? Why is that required? That in itself is a problem. You might go, Larry, you're right. It seems kind of odd. Yes. Why is that a problem? Because we can't move anything in this state unless the federal government prints money and gives it to us. Now, this one thing I got to give her. I say all the time, she's good at this. When it comes to grifting cash from Uncle Joe, Kathy's amazing, right? If you want to grift cash from Uncle Joe, there is no one better than Kathy Hochul. However, that's not a good skill for the future of New York State. It's good for this year because the money comes thrown to us. She throws the money at us this year, but that's it.
He needed the Democrats to get this over the finish line. And I do thank Senator Gillibrand and all the other senators who teamed up on this. And in New York State, knowing how important this was to our state, I thank the entire Democratic congressional delegation and the two Republicans, John Katko and Chris Jacobs of Buffalo, for being the two who supported it. I'm grateful.
See, the two
grateful
good Republicans. The rest of you guys are bad Republicans. But these are good Republicans. I like that. That's good.
And Sanjay Mehrotra, I cannot believe the relationship that we've had just over this last year.
Well, you gave him money.
Values and how.
I love this. Do you know what happened? I don't know if you guys know this. New York State's giving that guy $5.5 billion. I'm not joking. New York State is giving. You give me $5.5 billion. I love you too. I'm your best friend too. We are BFFs. Give me $5.5 billion. I don't care who you are. I'm your best friend. We're going to give him $5.5 billion from New York State. Doesn't count the CHIPS Act, which will give him more. So we will do that. Your taxpayer dollars will give that billionaire who owns Micron an extra $5.5 billion. That's how we got him here. We bribed him. That's how we always get people here. So I'd be your best friend too. Paula, you'd be my BFF. I gave you $5.5 billion. You'd have dinner at my house every Friday. You'd be hanging out with me. We'd be BFFs. Any of you would if I gave you $5.5 billion. You would love me. I get it. Let me grab a couple of comments. You guys are enjoying this, but yes. Karen says, Saratoga County Libertarians put out 35 signs this week. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, absolutely. Captain Morgan, LP, says, you mean Biden closed down a community college to avoid protests and screwed up traffic for a day? Yes, it's worse when it's in New York City. When it's in New York City, they block out entire centers of the road. It's horrible. Oh, my God, it's horrible. Yes. Phil says, what do you think about the prosecution of Zeldin for coordinating with PACs? Sounds something both candidates are doing to some extent, but the headline of a criminal investigation against Zeldin right before election seems suspicious and abusive. Too bad Zeldin keeps simping for law enforcement. Yeah, again, right? Do I think that Zeldin should be prosecuted for coordinating with PACs? If you prosecute all the others, yes, right? So if everyone else who's doing it is getting, yeah, but just him? No. And I have no love for Zeldin. That I have no love for Zeldin. But they should not be put. The reason why he's getting it, Phil, is because the Asian is Democrat and everything is political. So if you're going to prosecute every one of them, yeah, get Zeldin too. But just picking Zeldin, it's completely political, terrible. And again, I have no love for Zeldin, but it doesn't matter. I don't have to have love for the man. He is, I believe, this is not the right answer, right? This is wrong. And the timing, of course. Look, I get it. Politically, Phil, you're right. It's smart. Politically. Ethically, no. Right? No. If he was doing this and they thought he was, they knew months ago. You and I both know this. They knew this months ago. So if they were going to start hammering people, they should have hammered him with others months ago. At least that would be fair. But they're not. They're just trying to hammer Zeldin because election day's in a couple of days. So, yeah. And then, of course, Zeldin can't say anything because why? He's always like, cops, back to blue no matter what. Well, now they're coming after you, brother. So, absolutely. Shelley says, except that every educated person qualifies for these jobs or the state. See, there's that is an issue, right? This goes to the same thing, Shelley. If I believed that New Yorkers would be moving back for this, I might be, you know what, there's a silver lining, but they're not. It's going to be some non-New Yorkers coming in, people they want to come in, and it will not be the jobs they say. They say it's going to be 9,000 jobs from Micron, 9,000 jobs from Micron, and the average salary is $100,000 per. I'm not joking. That's what Biden said. I didn't want to punish you guys by showing you Biden's speech. It was punishment. I watched it. I got punished for you. He said it was going to be 9,000 jobs from Micron, averaging $100,000 per salary, yearly salary per. I will bet you anything you want, they won't make those numbers. Why would I say that? They never make their numbers. I want to be clear. Never, not one time in all of these bribery schemes that they've created in New York State since I can remember, they have never, not one time, made their numbers. Why would they make it this time? They say 9,000. If we get 5,000, I'll be happy. They say, I'm not happy. I'll be surprised. I'm not going to be happy no matter what. I'll be surprised if I get 5,000. Right? If it averages 75,000, I'll take it. Right? I mean, I don't think they'll do either of those things. The reason why this matters is as they begin to build out stuff, the money doesn't even start building until 2024. And the rest of it comes into play by 2029, believe it or not. Right? So they're supposed to give $100 billion. The company is over the next 20 years. But we have to give them, the federal government will give them $20 billion like tomorrow, and New York State will give them $5.5 billion in the next 2 years. So they get a whole bunch of money up front to show up, and they're supposed to spend 100 over the course of 20 years. As soon as they figure out how bad it is to work in New York State, they're going to change their tune. Of course they will, because that's what always happens. So yes, the Libertarian lady says, writing line with Sharpe. Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. So Daniel says, the GOP grifters said I was wasting my vote when they texted me. Of course they did, but they're wrong. Jean, you caught that first of her name. Yes, Janine, you caught it. Thank you so much. Yes, yes. Her Majesty Queen Kathy, first of her name. That is correct. Yes. So that's very good. All right. Let's see here. Biden's dark Brandon. I like that. Betsy says, vote right in Larry Sharpe. He's the individual to get the job done for New York governor, the American people. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. Hero says, I despise the Dem Gov. Zeldin could win if the polls go further in his favor. I know people keep saying that, Hero. I keep hearing people say that. If you're worried, if you want to really know what are the odds of someone winning an election, there's a way of doing it. You can go to bookies.com. I'm not joking. It's a betting site, right? You can't bet on elections in New York, and I think in the United States, it's against the law. But you can do it in Europe. So the Europeans, they bet on our elections, right? The chances of Lee Zeldin winning, of Kathy Hochul winning a few months ago were 93%. Now they have gone down. The polling has changed. So now they're down to, I'm not joking, 86%. The gamblers, where the house is always right, and the people are putting money on it, those people say her odds of winning are now only 86%. I say 100%, but I'm not a bookie. They say, so yeah, no, he's not going to win. It's, again, almost 3-1 Democrats, Republican in the state. I keep saying this. I travel this state and talk to regular people more than any of these people do. I meet them all the time. I don't go from Republican fundraiser or Democratic fundraiser to fundraiser. I don't do that. I go into average places and talk to people. And people still like her. They still get mad at me online for her. I look at the Twitter and the Facebook accounts. People still defend her. They still like her, and they do. And they still hate Republicans, and they hate Trump. Not going to happen. So, but I get it. Look, you do what you want to do. Here's the worry I have. Come November 10th or 9th or whenever the election's over, whenever they finish counting, we will have Her Majesty. It's her second term. She'll be reinstated in January. They will crown her yet again. It sucks, but the Republican Party has ensured that will happen, right? They've ensured it by shunning me. That was their issue. They did it. It was their fault. It's their fault. That's why she will be governor again. And when that happens, there'll be one or two things will be true. One, I will not get 130,000 votes, in which case the Democrats will rule this state and we will be broken. There'll be no resistance whatsoever. How the Republicans going to feel now that they've lost for 20 years straight? People are just going to pack up and leave. Hope will go away. That's option one. Option two, you guys get smart. Tell your friends. Make sure you write me in. I get 130,000 votes. There will be a Libertarian Party, the only independent party in this state. And we will start running next year, and I will physically help you to run, and we will have victories next year at the local level, and we'll begin to start change, and we'll grassroots this damn thing like I tried in 2019. And then they destroyed me in 2020. I began that grassroots. You know I did. You guys who are with me, you saw me do it. I helped some of you out. And we got 107. I keep saying that number because I want it to stick into your head. I got 107 Libertarian victories in 2019 to begin the grassroots. They got scared and they devastated us. I got it. Lesson learned. That will happen exactly one time. I get my ass kicked, but I get back up. They don't think I can get back up. They are wrong. I've shown them this more than once. You figure eventually they figure this shit out, but they don't. It's fine. We get 130. We go back into the field again next year. We get 150 victories next year at the grassroots. Again in 2024. Again in 2025. In 2026, we are unstoppable. That's option two. That's what I'm trying to achieve. I wish I could have done that this year. Looks like McMullen might do it in Utah this year on the opposite side. Hopefully the Republicans will get their head out of their ass. I can only hope so. We'll see. So, Dave, you get so far the comment of the evening. Yes. So is Kodak going to expand their plant in Rochester? I cannot tell you how much I love this comment, Dave. I love this comment. So what we're doing in New York is not helping a New York-based company to grow, become powerful, to expand. We're not doing that. We're not helping small businesses here in New York expand and grow and become big. No. we're bribing this company. I think it's from Idaho. I think. Ooh, is it Idaho? I forgot. They're from someplace in the West. We're bribing them to come here. That's what we're doing. You've hit it perfectly. Yes, you've hit it perfect. Thank you, Dave, for that. I do appreciate that so much. 100%. Anyway, so yes, they are not. Dave, to answer your question, they're not. And we should be helping them. We should be helping them, and we're not. So yes. Righteously Rob says, like the Libertarian candidate for governor in Georgia, he's way better than Kemp and Abrams. Yes, his name is Shane Hazel. That's his name, Shane Hazel. He is former Marine, just like me. Yes, he was on the debate stage. 100%. Shane Hazel's amazing. You should vote for him. Yes, you should vote for Shane Hazel. That's what you should do. I know his name, right? Because I'm one of the rare libertarians. When I'm in the media, I mention other libertarians. I say who's running. I do it all the time. It doesn't matter. Let me keep going if I could.
We can work together, the private sector and government, saying we can work together to just build and energize a community that had been forgotten for so long. I know you're doing this because you want to continue to be the world's greatest manufacturer of semiconductor chips, and you will be. And you're going to do it here. But what you have done to my community, to my state, is something I will go to my grave grateful for, because you transformed a state.
Nothing's happened yet. Nothing's happened yet. A shovel doesn't go in the ground till 2024. Nothing's happened. You've transformed my state. Nothing's happened yet. People are still struggling. Nothing's happened. You've transformed my state. So one company is now the savior of New York State. No. Let me ask you, does anybody know what laws have been changed in New York State to help people? Yeah, none. What policies have been changed to help people? Yeah, none. What happened? Why is he doing this? Because New York State is bribing him. All that happened is he's getting money. So they found money. Again, I'll give Kathy, I will give Her Majesty the credit that is due. When it comes to grifting from Uncle Joe, there is no one better. She will get Uncle Joe Biden to write checks like there's no tomorrow. And he keeps doing it. So well done, I guess. If that's the skills that you like, well done. But that's not helping businesses.
That for a while had given up believing in itself. So Sanjay, to you and all your partners at Micron, everybody from Micron, we love you. We're so grateful you're here.
Oh,
You've been extraordinary.
She's worse than Zeldin and Cops. She's all like, Micron, Micron, you saved. No one's got a job yet. But here's what happened, though. This is why she loves Micron. You know why she loves Micron so much? Be very full with you. Because of all the jobs that she will be handing out. And then Biden brought up the idea of lots of union jobs and the kind of jobs they agreed to, different jobs they agreed to. She will be handing out all those jobs to her cronies, which means they have to support her and vote for her. That's why she's so happy. That's why she's and that's smarter than Zeldin. Zeldin is all the cops. There aren't that many cops. I mean, they'll all vote for him, but there aren't that many of them. There's a whole lot more union workers and construction workers than there are cops. So I don't know. She's got the bigger. If you're gonna start kissing up on people, I think she's kissing up on the right people. Zeldin, watch her. She got some better skills than you.
Micron, stand up, Micron.
Oh my God.
How do you spell hope in New York? It's Micron. That's how you spell hope.
No, it's Sharpe. That is how you spell hope. I'm not Micron. It's LARRYSHARPE. Write that in November 8th. Write in for the governor, November 8th. That's how you spell hope. It's not Micron. Micron's how you spell grift. How do you spell grift? Micron. That's how you spell grift, not hope. You got the words wrong.
Hope. Micron. We are.
That's how you spell grift.
You. And I remember my first weeks as governor.
Yeah.
Just a little over a year ago. Kevin Eunice came to me, and I want to thank him personally because this was the job.
Look at that. He came to
Empire State Development.
And there it is, the Empire State Development Corporation, the most useless government organization ever created. What it does is it makes the government now controls how stuff gets built in New York State. And it's been doing a terrible job since it started, and it still does a terrible job. So the Empire Development Corporation came to her and said, hey, we got something for you. Can we grift? And she was like, Grifton, that's my middle name.
He said, we have an opportunity. There's these guys from Idaho, company. They're going to look around
Idaho.
the country for an opportunity to expand. I said, how big is this? It's the biggest deal in Americans' history. I said, really? Sounds a little big, Kevin. But I said, bring him into my office. Let's see what this is all about.
Now, I want you to understand something. You want to come to New York State. You want to build something in New York State. You don't go to the local place. You don't ask people. You have to go to the governor. Wow. Isn't that a problem?
So we had a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
We had a chance to talk about what I knew about upstate because I'm from upstate.
Oh, okay.
I happen to be the first upstate governor in 100 years. I know upstate New York.
Oh, there we go. That matters. That's important.
And I lived through the tough years. I knew what it's like when
You were in charge during the tough years. Not just lived. I lived through the tough years. We all lived through them, but you are responsible for them. Little difference.
Point was 15% when all the members of my big Irish Catholic family who grew up in an area called Lackawanna in Buffalo.
Yeah.
And Buffalo, here we go. The Bills are doing pretty good too. Grandpa made steel. My dad made steel. My uncles made steel.
I like that.
But in 1982, when all those jobs went away, my brothers and sisters couldn't find work. Unemployment was 15% where I came from. And it was all over upstate New York. We lost those jobs to Japan and China, the Southwest.
Yep.
The phrase in my community was, last one out the door, turn out the lights. That's what we told our kids. Our greatest export were our children.
You told your kids that? So you told your kids, last one out, turn off the lights. You told your kids that. I think you're making that one up. I don't think you did. I hope you didn't tell your kids that. And then you ran for office locally and then statewide and in Congress, and you stopped it by doing, nothing. You just grifted off the state while it was happening, while your friends and family left.
I lived through that. That's in my soul. I know what happened to a state and to a community.
Okay, you became a multi-millionaire, as did your husband. Stop pretending you live in the ghetto. You don't live in the ghetto. You don't live in the hood. That's not where you're from. You're not in a trailer park. You are a multi-millionaire, as is your husband. During this time of pain that we all suffered in, you made millions and you were working for the government. You were literally on the government dole, and you and your husband became multimillionaires. Who's struggling? I don't know. This is just stuff your mother's like, yeah, she was there with us. Yeah, when I had to keep my used car and she only had her third leased Mercedes. Shut up.
Because the businesses gave up on us. We didn't give up on them. We were still
No, you were in government. You literally gave up on them. You literally are punishing them now. This is just the story she tells. But see, I want to make sure you guys understand this. Most people don't get this. The average person watching this says, this sounds like great rhetoric. Oh my God, she's one of us. She cares about us. She's not. She doesn't.
Same people. We still wanted the dignity of a good job. We wanted our union members to continue working and making things like they had for generations. But the jobs were gone back then.
They just walked away.
So when I saw an opportunity with Micron knocking on the door saying, what can
you see? And the jobs were just gone. It had nothing to do with our business environment, even though literally, no matter how you rank it, New York State is always ranked in like the bottom 10, maybe the bottom 15 of all the states. The last time I saw the best I've ever seen New York rank when it came to business friendliness was like 36th. Often we'll rank like 50th, 49th, 48th, 44th. We'll always rank low. Like the Cato ranks us the least free state, period. But I'm saying just for business, we're always ranked low. How do we know that? Why in the world aren't businesses just coming to us?
you offer? He said, we're not losing this one. This is just too big.
Too big.
This is how we can regain that sense of exceptionalism that we've always had as New Yorkers. It's who we are. We build things, we grow things, we imagine things.
No, we don't. I don't mean to be mean, but that's true. We don't. We haven't in decades. What we do is we crush things. We destroy things. We regulate things. We push people and things out of our state. That's what we do. This story you're telling people is just shit you're making up. There's zero evidence of what you just said. None. We don't do that. This state goes out of its way to be oppressive, to shut everything down. And every single time a business tries to grow, you stifle it. That's why they don't stay. That's why you must bribe them.
And I knew we couldn't let this one go. And we worked hard. And I'm so grateful to have partnered with Chuck Schumer through every inch of this to get it done at the federal level. But once it was done at the federal level, that meant there'd be incentives for companies to come back from other countries, build the industry here in the United States.
Now, why do you have to make incentives? By the way, the CHIPS Act set aside $52 billion. Now, if you're on the left right now, you're saying, see, it's handouts to the business corporations. You're right. I get why the socialists say what they say. She's giving them the ammunition. They're right. Why shouldn't we, in their heads, why shouldn't we pay off their college debt when we're giving $52 billion for companies to come back to our country because our country's so broken? Why shouldn't we pay for Medicare or whatever you know? Why not? We got 52 billion magic dollars that Uncle Joe just pulled out of thin air, and he's going to give a bunch to Kathy Hochul. We're going to get at least 10 billion of that, at least, if not more, maybe 20 billion for Micron. It's one of the biggest deals. We'll probably get 20 billion out of that. And then on top of it, New York State's giving 5.5 billion. So we're giving them $25 billion. And that's all done before the end of this decade. And they only have to spend $20 billion. I'm not joking. They have to spend $20 billion before the end of the decade, $100 billion in the next 20 years. So they're going to have net $5 billion profit just to show up. Not selling a thing, just to show up. $5 billion profit. I'd come here too. What company wouldn't? Hey, company, build some stuff here. Here's $5 billion. Okay, thanks. Once that money and all that stuff goes away, what do you think Micron's going to do? What happens when they start getting hammered with our Family and Medical Leave Act that people are taking advantage of right now that isn't thought through at all? What happens when that happens? What happens when they realize they can't hire people because we have a massive underclass of felons here who they can't hire because they're large companies and they're publicly owned companies? They can't hire them all of a sudden. What do you think when they realize that in New York State, you have to have 2 forms of liability insurance, not one? And then we have an insurance board. What happens when that goes away? All they're going to do is say, oh, let's get waivers. And they'll get waivers like there's no tomorrow until eventually they go, it's too much. And they're going to pack up. They're going to move to Tennessee or to Florida or to Texas. Guaranteed that's going to happen. But she'll get elected and the unions will follow her and she'll give lots of money away and life is good. That's how it always works. So I'm sorry. All right. Anyway, let me keep going here. I'm going to grab a couple more of these if I can. Let's see here. Phil says your take on Zeldin is why libertarians are too good for New York. Yeah, kind of. That's true. Yes, right. I don't want to punish Zeldin because I have no love for him. I would only like him to be punished if everyone's being punished. Fair, right? Remember when Cuomo got, if you remember this, Phil, if you were watching my show when it happened, when Cuomo got accused of all his bad stuff, I didn't gloat, not initially, and I didn't hammer him. What I said was, wait for the investigation, even though I wanted him to be caught and guilty and I wanted him to be removed, and he, in the long run, he did, which was great. And when he actually resigned, I did gloat after he resigned. But prior to that, I said, no, he deserves due process. And I am no fan of Cuomo. And I said, he still deserves due process. I'm not going to hammer the man publicly until the report comes back. Report came back, I hammered him. But I gave him due process, right? I did. Zeldin too. I have no love for Zeldin. But you're just going to hammer him because he's a political enemy? No. Unacceptable. You're going to hammer him, you're going to hammer everybody. And they're all, and you know they're all scamming, Phil. I mean, you know they are. So this is just political. Absolutely. All right. Paula says, I never thought I'd say this, but I can think of Cuomo. Any Cuomo over Hochul. That's terrible. Karen says, nobody will remember Zeldin this time next year. I know that. How do you know that? Most of you can't remember who ran for governor Republican 4 years ago or even 8 years ago. Most of you can't. I do because I ran against them. But most of you don't. You're right. Zeldin, 3 weeks from now, Zeldin, maybe a month from now, Zeldin will be a member of a high-powered law firm or lobbying firm. That's what he's been doing. That's why he set this up. See, he took the $12 million and he gave it to a bunch of firms. These are all consulting firms that support his campaign. As he gives them all the money, he buys a job. I'm not joking, right? Think about it. Karen, you have a consulting firm, and you're going to consult on whatever for the campaign, and you charge a fee, and you're going to charge $1 million over the course of 9 months. So he gives you $1 million over the course of 9 months. You don't do really anything. You just basically keep the money. So now he says, can I have a job? He goes, yeah. What's your salary? I don't know, $500,000, because you gave us $1 million. So we just give you the money back for free. That's how they buy jobs. So they just give the money out to a bunch of consulting firms or lobbying firms, and then they join them. So it's very simple. Politicians do this all the time. They basically buy their own jobs through donations. So he'll do that. He'll be either a lobbyist or he'll be in a law firm. He'll have a great job afterwards. Nick Langworthy, he'll be a congressman. They'll all be fine. You know who won't be fine? The silly Republicans who've fallen for the grift again and keep voting for them, and then nothing happens. They won't be fine. So, yes. Let me see if I can grab this if I could. All right, let's see here. Joel says, if they would pass the fair tax, business industry would move to the U.S. without bribes. Joel, that was my point. Thank you, brother. That was my point, right? What change did they make? I said, if you made a change in New York State to where if you're a local business, you're immune from all federal regulatory bodies, now local businesses who only sell locally have a chance to grow. They don't get stifled right away. They can begin to grow, right? If you don't make workers' comp doubly hammered in New York State, like most states, you don't have to double hammer them. It's a single hammer. Still sucks, but it's a single hammer. So if you do it that way, now all of a sudden they have a chance of growing also, right? You want to help with the felon population? No payroll tax if you're hiring felons. Lowering your tax rate to train the felon population. Now you might go, Larry, do I really want felons working in businesses? Yes, if they're not working in businesses, they're robbing people or we're paying for them in jail. So yes, I would rather have my felons working. Yes. And there is a magic pill, guys. You may not know this. You get a felon out, works 5 years, the odds of that felon going back to jail are lower than someone who's never been in jail. That is correct. It is a magic pill. 5 years of work is the answer for our felon population. Get them working for 5 years. They're good to go. Get them working. I don't want them robbing people. I don't want them back in jail and us paying for them. Get them working. We can do that. That will be a change that will get people to want to come here. Or in 4 years, end the state income tax. Where are people going? Florida, Texas, Tennessee, Wyoming. What's common in those states? Oh, no income tax. It's not rocket science. It really isn't. So, yes. And it says, dude, Larry might come to Rochester tomorrow afternoon. I will be in Rochester, 11 a.m., not afternoon. 11 a.m. tomorrow, I will be there. Yes, leaving early in the morning to make that happen. Paula says, New York may as well coronate Hochul the same day as King Charles. An election is done without lie. An election is a done deal without lie. Yes, yeah, sadly, yes, that's correct. Yes, absolutely. I love that. All right, let's see if I can grab a couple more of these if I can. Here we go.
But what would lead them to New York? Because everybody's saying, oh, it's not the place you want to build a business. Oh, no, they're not so friendly.
Yes! Look at him screaming like, Lord, you say that? Look at him. He's like, did you just say that? God, you're dumb. Biden, look, if Biden figures out you're messing up, you messing up. He doesn't know when he's messing. He just says stuff. He's like, let me just say stuff. He doesn't know what he's saying. He's like, shut up, don't tell him the bad, don't. And she's like, yeah, everyone says we suck. Why? Because we suck. Yeah. Why would they say that, Governor? She literally just said, everybody says it's not why would you grow that? Yes, why would you? So, crazy idea. I'm going to go out on a limb here. Out on a limb. If everybody says New York State's not business friendly and you shouldn't build a business here, and you're the governor, and you know that, and you just announced it, change. I know, nuts guys, you're like, Larry, you're insane. I know, but change. Stop bribing people and asking Uncle Joe to keep writing you checks. Change the state so we are friendly. She's like, nah, I'm not doing that. That's like work. I got Uncle Joe here. He'll just keep writing me checks. I'm good. Sadly, she's right.
Said we're going to prove them wrong. And what we had to do, we went to the legislature, and I thank Al Sturpey, our Assemblyman, for being the quarterback who got this one into the end zone with the legislature. I thank Jeremy Cooney. I thank Majority Leader Andre Stewart-Cousins. I thank the Speaker, Carl Heastie, and everybody who stood up and said, we can do this. Now, there were some naysayers. Oh no, what are you doing here?
Yeah, there was some naysayers said, Governor, you you can't just keep spending money. You can't just the checks are not going to last forever. At one point, the money's going to run out. Uncle Joe can't keep writing you checks. At one point, he's not going to be president. When that happens, where's the money going to come from? That's what they're telling you. At one point, Uncle Joe is not going to be president. And when he's not president, where's that money coming from? So, yeah, that was their issue.
Not sure about this one. I said, I don't care. I
No, you
don't
don't.
care.
I know you
I'm
don't.
not losing this one. This is not happening under my watch.
That's right.
And we got
I will take all your money. I will take every dime you got. Andrew, empty your wallet. That's it. Paula, sell your car. I'm taking all the money. That's it.
through with the support of the legislature, the Green Chips Act that gave us that extra leverage to say, I go back to Sanjay.
I love the words they use. We made change, extra leverage. What's actually changing? I'm going to tell you. Nothing. So what's the leverage? What's the deal? It's just more money. That's all it is. It's just more money. That's it.
Go back to Micron. I said, yes, you're going to do something in America, but you can do it in New York. And
I got
we're gonna
$5
give you
billion.
the best educated work.
I got 5 billion reasons why you do it right here in New York. I got 5.5 to be more clearer. I have 5.5 billion reasons for you to do it right here. And Sanjay was like, that's a lot of reasons. New York, here I come.
Force, the most incredibly innovative people from all the walks of life up here. The people are being educated in world-class universities. And I know that working together.
Okay, if that were true, get world-class universities, well then, why aren't they starting businesses here? Why aren't we growing Kodak here? So one of two things are true. One, the business environment is so crappy, they're getting educated world-class and going someplace else, crappy environment. Or two, education is not so great. One of those two things are true. Would you handle either one of them? No. You'll write a check.
There are green chips bill, which puts an emphasis on sustainability. You're going to be a model for every other business in the world when you're done.
Wow.
And we're focused on the $500 million community investment plan that you've made.
Yep.
Because we asked for it, and I'm thank you.
And I'm thank you. They asked for $500 million of a community investment. Okay. You're giving me literally 5.5 billion. I'll give you the 0.5. Fine. Take that back in community investment. Now, what does community investment mean? You might go, Larry, that sounds great. You give money to community. No. What that means is she said we asked for it. What does that mean? He's going to give her $500 million to hand out to her local cronies. I'm not joking, guys. If you think I'm making this up, right? I always say this. Wouldn't I be sued, or wouldn't people be angry at me, or wouldn't something happen? No, because what I'm saying is accurate. She will take the $500 million and she will hand it out to her cronies. Oh, hey, Jane, you have a nonprofit that does stuff. Here's $10 million. Tell all the people who work for you to vote for me and to support my policies. Go Democrats. Hey, Bobby, you have a company that does something. I don't know what it is. Here's $50 million and support me. And he's gonna be like, yeah, $50 million, go Hochul. She gave me $50 million. I'd support it too. So let's just throw money out. I wish it was not as simple as this, but it is I would ask any of you, if you can find a way that I'm wrong, or that I've made an error, or that is something else I'm missing, I'm happy for you to tell me. Happy. But this is what I see every single time. And I try to cut through the BS when they talk, because I want you as an American citizen to understand. Follow the damn money. That's it. They don't care about you. They care about the grift. That's what matters. Follow the money. You got it. That's it. Well, Larry, you'll grift. You got to give me a couple years before I can grift. I don't have enough cronies yet. Give me like 8 years. Then throw me out, because then I'll be corrupt too. And you can dump me too at the same time. You'll dump me in 8 years and you'll bring somebody else in, right? We'll have Dave move over here. He'll replace me. It's fine. We'll have someone. We'll have Phil. Phil will be, He'll replace me. It's fine. He won't be corrupt yet. He'll be corrupt later. Give him 8 years. Phil will be corrupt too, and we'll throw Phil out. It's fine. That's why we should be rotating people out. Term limits, so you can't be so damn corrupt. See?
We said we can build up childcare so moms can get to jobs. We can do apprenticeship training. We can get kids in underserved communities that chance of an opportunity that they never would have had, that their parents didn't have. That's how we build the New York dream, and it's happening before our eyes.
Oh my God. It's happening before our eyes. There's not one thing going to happen until 2024, but it's happening before our eyes because this sounds great because, man, vote for me.
This is what is so energizing. So
Vote for me.
those who gave up on this state a long time ago, oh, you didn't make the bet in the right place because it's happening here. I'm getting phone calls right now from companies all over this country. You're saying, tell me about New York.
Oh, there, stop. That's such a lie. I'm getting phone calls from companies all over the world saying, tell me about New York. Blatant lie. Here's what she's getting. She's getting people reach out saying, any of that cash left for me? That's what's happening. You got any of that cash for me? You got 5.5 for him. How much you got for me? Well, hold on. That CHIPS Act. How much you got? 10? You got 10 billion for him? How much of that CHIPS Act can you get for me? That's what they're actually saying. That's a blatant lie. And I will say to her face, that's a blatant lie. No one's going, tell me about New York. No one's doing that. She's making that up. They are calling her going, hey, okay, it's 5. That guy got 5 billion. How much you got for me? I got a plant. I could build something. You want to give me $2 billion? I'll build something too. That's the call she's getting. That's reality.
Tell me about this whole ecosystem. We don't need to be a Silicon Valley
ecosystem. That's what they're called. Tell me about the ecosystem. There's not one CEO who called her and said, tell me about the ecosystem. No, I know CEOs. Like, I work with executives. Not one executive said, hey, tell me about the eco. No one says that. She made that up.
Triangle down in North Carolina. This is not just Chip's corridor. This is Chip's country. This is New York State, and we're going to build it here in New York.
No. Okay. Could it happen? Yes. I spoke about this in 2018, and most of you didn't pay attention. I said you could do it. You could build a corridor between Syracuse and Rochester. Yes. And the thing you want to do is you want to build an actual road between the two. You want to build a Google road. I'm not joking. You build a Google road between the two, right? And then maybe also an I-81. Google road there too. 2 Google roads or Amazon roads. I don't care, whatever. You pick, whatever the roads are, where the driverless trucks and cars can go back and forth all around through. And if they can charge it if they want to, or you use the regular road. But that would bring people here to think and to talk and do new things. And then I said, we want to then revamp the Erie Canal. Remember that one? And put hovercraft on the Erie Canal. How do we pay for that? Not through taxes. We pay for that instead through sponsorships on all the locks. About 3 dozen locks on the Erie Canal. 37, I think, 35 in that area. Those are locks. Naming rights for each lock. They build out each lock across the place, raise our cash, throw on some hovercraft on that damn thing. It's cool for everything. Cool for people to go around and touristy and move up and down. Boom, now we're bringing people here. Give them something to build. Give them something to build, and people will come and build it. You don't have to bribe them, but just know any better.
I'm so excited to be able to turn the page on history that was dark and hard for many of us for so long.
Okay, I love that. That was dark and hard for so many of us for so long. Not you. Let me be clear, in case you think I'm making this up. Her and her husband are wealthy. It was not dark or hard for her or her family. And worse, she had a nephew who passed away from a drug overdose. The nephew couldn't afford to get good care. She didn't write a check. Didn't write a check. Talk about how much she loves her nephew. Why don't you write a check then? You love your nephew? Write a check. I would have. If it's my nephew, she's in trouble, he's in trouble, I'm going to write you a check. Of course. If I'm wealthy like you, I'm writing a check. She didn't write a check. It wasn't so dark. But here's the worst part. She was literally in charge. She was a local official in Hamburg. She was a congressperson and lieutenant governor. She was in charge of this dark time. And what was she doing? That will be, nothing but making money. So during this dark time, she was making a killing, as was her spouse. What were we doing? We were suffering. So I'm so glad you're there with us.
This is a new era, my friends. This is a new day. This is New York. Thank you very much.
Boy, this is propaganda. This is more propaganda. This is such propaganda. Oh, he's back up. He's
As you
emceeing
all
it.
can tell, one thing we lack from this delegation is
Give me a joke.
enthusiasm.
That fell
I
flat.
want to introduce
All right, you don't MC, brother. You're not good at that. Don't
Senator
do that.
Gillibrand now to bring her to the podium, but I want to make one comment
Oh.
that may not seem totally consistent with what we're doing.
What? The President Biden say a comment that's not consistent with what we're doing? That's out of character.
One of the reasons why women in America have an opportunity to serve in any capacity they have, including in the military, why
Okay.
we have department heads of entire United States Coast Guard and others is because of this
Yeah.
woman right here. So, Kristen, it's all yours.
That's good virtue signaling. That was good. So I'm gonna go virtue signaling. That was good virtue. I like that. That was good. That was good.
This is an extraordinary.
All right, I'm gonna let that part go. They all talk about the stuff they always talk about, which is let me tell everybody how awesome government is and how it solves all our problems and all that stuff. That's it. Yes. So let me grab a couple more of these if I could. John says League of Villains. Well, yeah, that's kind of it. Yeah. Oh, hey, what's up, Jax? Jerry Tub Roraba. I like Tub. Jax is Jacksonville. So yes. Anyway, I like Tub. I'm gonna go with Tub. How about just the private sector and the government out of it? Tub, I agree with you. Yes, absolutely. Yes. All right. Scott says you have to write Larry Sharpe on the ballot for governor in New York because the Republican got him off the ballot. That's true. Writing Larry Sharpe, remember the E, and the E stands for everything. I like that. Yes, everything. That's what it is. I'm gonna say it right. Zeletic. Did I say it right? Ah, yes. Progressives move backwards and conservatives move backwards, just in different directions. Kind of true. Yes. Kind of true. Absolutely. So, what happens to the microchip manufacturer in Colony, New York? Mere miles from the capital. Oh, right. The left. That's right. Shelly, I forgot about that. My chat's very smart. You're right. So that's my point, right? So we've got one here. They don't help grow. But we can get literally billions of dollars. We can do that. And then bribe someone to come in. You know, I talk about this all the time. The idea that New York just bribes people to come in. That's all they do. Bribing, and not growing. It is so disappointing. And I brought it up years ago. I said, that's how we always do it. And people are like, no, Larry, no. This is government helping. It's not government helping. It's government hurting. See if I can find it, actually. I think I have one of those here. If I can find my I have a bunch of the videos here, and one of them I actually did on government I'll find it later. Anyway, I did a video I did like 4 years ago talking about exactly this, of course. So Joel says this is a speech where Biden tells energy and food and energy costs have gone down. You know, tells where he's shopping. Yes, I remember that. Yes, I remember that. He's like, yeah, gas was like $100 when I came in. Now it's like 99 or whatever he said. Yeah, that's correct. Yes. Joel says Hochul spells hope grift, Grift. Correct. Yes. Manny, vote any who but blue. It's nice. I like that. Paula says it's a Micron cult. Yeah, isn't it? I mean, I guess she's got to win, right? So that's a win for her. So I think she's like loving that piece, right? That she gets a win, and it's good timing for her. Right? So you can take this and say, "See, I brought." They're saying 50,000 jobs, right? And again, it has never been that, but the goal was 9,000 Micron jobs, and then others that will support it. Now, again, think about this: they're not really doing anything until 2024, so you're not going to get people really in until 2025. So how fast can you ramp up? 2 years, 3 years, give or take. So maybe by 2027, you'll have your maximum jobs, whatever those are. If we get $5,000 or $6,000 out of it, I mean, that 5,000 or 6,000 jobs, that'd be amazing. Just get that, be something. Either way, we're losing money. And either way, any local jobs, this is the problem, right? So now, say I have a local business that requires some talent. How am I going to get that talent? Well, I can't, can I? Because the talent's going to be at Micron. So the local guy who wants to grow, he can't. Absolutely. So another problem, of course. So yes. Karen says she should thank Cuomo's victims and also probably apologize for her silence. Yeah, she hasn't really said anything, has she? She said nothing. I agree. She says nothing. That's the crazy part. Nothing at all. Yes. Phil says high tax and regulations close down these massive industries. Yes, and none of that changes, right? So if you're gonna, we went to legislature and we went to these places. So it sounds like you did something that you changed the laws and the rules and you made it easier or something, right? That's how it sounds as she says this. No, what she means is I got them to agree to spend the money. I got them to agree to spend all the cash. That's what it is. Yes. Paul says, Larry, I don't even live in New York, but these two duopoly clowns, Hochul and Zelda, make me want to leave New York and move to South Carolina. That's good. I like that. Yes. Yes. Kevin says, sleepyhead in the background. You're going to make me cough, Kevin. Thank you. It's actually good. Yes. It's very good. I like that. Yes. The banner says that Biden's speaking. Well, maybe in his head he is. I think it's probably true. Absolutely. Laz says, lol, $52 billion worth of fiat. What could go wrong? Yes. Thank you. Yes. It is insane. We're just going to, and that was the point, right? Again, and I don't mean, I'm not trying to validate socialism. That isn't my validation. What I'm saying is you can understand how the socialists are going to say, where's my money, when they keep seeing billions of dollars go here or go to Ukraine or go into this thing or go into the military or wherever. And they have a point, right? They have a point. We should stop all of this. We should stop all of this. It's going to go wrong. I agree. Lots continues. I don't understand how people lap up her rhetoric. Jobs are just gone. Yes, in 2022. Forget we locked everyone down in their homes and took New Yorkers' jobs for refusing to comply with the medical mandate. Yes, yes, and yes. 100%. Yes. Right? Again, it's just gone. It's not that we actually devastated the state. No, not that. Yeah, absolutely. Kevin says people who vote for Democrats are the consequences of living in a blue state. You know, the problem, Kevin, is it isn't just blue states. It's blue everywhere, right? It's blue cities and red states. It's that too. But the other issue is these are still our family and friends, right? These are people that we know, right? And I don't want people to suffer if they don't have to suffer. Sadly, lots of people are just broken. They've been battered for so long. They don't know any better, and they don't even believe it. It's called learned helplessness. They just don't care. In fact, they have Stockholm syndrome. Use it all the time. Stockholm syndrome is literally when you start to believe that your team who's been screwing you over actually loves you. There was actually a thing on Stockholm syndrome. Let's see if I can find that real fast. And if you talk about, again, for those who don't know, I was in military intelligence while I was in the Marine Corps. We talk about things like this, right? Those types of things. And let's see if I can find a little bit on Stockholm syndrome. What are the signs of Stockholm syndrome? See if I can show you this, if I can find it here. There's some interesting things on Stockholm syndrome. And yeah, there we go. All right. And I will share this. And I'm not joking when I say it. I mean, there are people who are like really in trouble. And we don't realize it because we think, no, not us. Stockholm syndrome, right? Stockholm syndrome is a coping mechanism to a captive or abusive situation. People develop positive feelings towards their captors or abusers over time. This condition applies to situations including child abuse, coach athletic abuse, relationship abuse, and sex trafficking, and politics in America. Treatment includes psychotherapy and medications if needed. Yes, right? There's a whole thing on Stockholm syndrome. If you watch it, closely linked conditions are trauma bonding. We have a lot of that. Learned helplessness. I just mentioned that. And battered person syndrome. We are there. Like literally we are there. That we literally have a bunch of people who have Stockholm syndrome, Keith. So Kevin. So I get it, but I feel bad also. Dave says Hochul 52, Zeldin 43, Sharpe 5. What's the Vegas line for this election? I don't think Vegas can have a line. I'm not sure about this, but I'm pretty sure it's illegal to vote on elections in the United States, but not overseas. So you probably have to go to London to get the numbers, the line on that. I would assume, I think London. Yes, most people are saying that Zeldin will lose by 10 points. That's the normal line. He'll lose by 10 points. But I don't know. Maybe he'll lose by 5, maybe 15. But most people are saying he'll lose by 10. That is my assumption. So yes. Phil goes to say, I never voted Democrat. I'm paying for it. Yes, Phil, thank you. Kevin, that's my point. I don't want anybody suffering. And many of the Republicans I did vote for loved handing out county jobs to their cronies. Thank you. That's the problem, Phil. You've just hit it perfectly again, right? They're all handing out jobs in cash. That's how it's working. They're all handing out jobs and cash, right? That's the issue. So anyway, I think it's completely correct on this one. Yes. So, oh, not 11, 1. Thank you. Oh my God, what am I saying? 11, not 11. What am I thinking? Not 11 a.m. Thank you, Craig. I'll be in Rochester at 2. Why am I saying 11? That's the other one. That's the next day. I screwed up. Thank you so much, Craig. Did I said 11, didn't I? No, I'm not going to be there at 11. I'm going to be there at 2. Correct. It opens up at 1. I'll be there by 2 at the Rundown Memorial Library. Thank you so much, Craig. For me, I screwed that up. My head's someplace else. 11's the next day. That's not this day. It's next day. So yes, that's correct. I'm sorry. I got so many things going on. Screws me up. Dave says Emerson has it at 50, 44, and 6. Ooh, I like that. I've polled as high as 7%, so that's possible. But then again, are they all going to remember to write me in? I hope you guys will. Tell your friends. It's important. Yes. Scott says, if a felon works for 5 years, the felony should be removed from their record, except for pedophilia and murder. Murder is homicide with malice forethought. Yeah, I'm not against stuff being removed at all. I think it's a good idea. I'm not sure 5 years is the answer, though. Maybe it's 7. I'm not sure. I'd be open to 5, but I don't know the data on what makes the most sense, right? But at one point, I think you should. Once you've proven yourself and you're back in action, get back in action, right? Absolutely. DSG Label says that 50,000 jobs have never been explained. Complete made up. No, I agree. What they said was, supposedly Micron said 9,000, and then they assumed that there will be support jobs for those 9,000 equaling 50. You're right. It's made up, right? That's what I said. There'll be support jobs. That's the issue. Bingo. Yes. So Jim says now she wants to borrow $4 billion at the highest interest rate in 20 years to fight climate change. You kidding me? Yes, Jim. Yes. Why does she care? More debt. Uncle Joe's going to be around for a while. She figures. She thinks that it'll never turn off. That'll never turn off. That's what she thinks. Absolutely. But it will. Yes. Shelly says leverage, apart from the terms of torque, means that Biden was able to steal Micron from another state, likely a red state. Well, a little bit, right? Some of this stuff is coming, excuse me, back from overseas, Shelly. So the federal government is bribing businesses to come from overseas and to come here. That's what the federal government's doing. I think from Taiwan, if I'm not mistaken. So some of their factories are now coming over here instead. So the federal government bribes them to come here, and then there's $5 billion more to bribe them to come to New York State. So come to America, the federal government says, here's a bribe. And then come to New York, Kathy says, I got $5.5 billion to bribe you. And that's how they got here. So might they have gone to another state? Yes, they might have. But Kathy had $5 billion. So why does Texas or Florida want to drop $5 billion to get Micron? People are flocking to their state without bribes. Right? I mean, yes, people are flocking to those states without bribes. So why would they bribe? New York State has to bribe because we're not friendly. She said the quiet part out loud. She said it. So yeah, absolutely. Excuse me. So I have a little bit of cough. I do a little bit of cough. So yes. Bill says term limits is anti-freedom. People should be free to vote for someone old or new. Term limits will be set by the voters via their vote. While lose a decent person due to someone else voting limits 3 states over. I would agree with you, Bill, if the election and voting laws were changed. Right now, with the two-party system, that is not true. The two-party system, there is no freedom, right? The Democrats decide in New York State who will be the top, and that's who our governor is. If we had a free and open elections, I would agree with you. We don't have that, so I'm okay with term limits. So, but I get your point. In theory, you're correct. In practice, it doesn't exist. They gerrymander districts so that it's always red or blue. They make rules that no one else can get on the ballot, so there's no third parties. So if you change the rules, yes. If you don't, you have to. Otherwise, excuse me, you'll have someone in this spot forever. There's literally no one else who can possibly win. So yes. Lyra says, bring back the Erie Canal. Yes. Lyra, 100%. Yes. Yes, absolutely. So Andrew says, turn the page on history equals let's repeat the same old stuff we've been doing, which is nothing. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. 100%. So, all righty. Nate Sign Guy says, like, comment, share, and put a homemade sign in your yard. Yes. Guys, as I always say, if you want to help out, there's a couple things you can do. Some are very simple. Like and comment and share. And if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. Cheap, in fact, free. Do that. It's a good idea. If you can, do me another favor. Also free. Take the world's smallest political quiz and share your results. Go to theadvocates.org or click this link right here in the description. This link takes you right there to the world's smallest political quiz. It's only a minute or two is all it takes. If you've taken it before, take it again and share it. The value of sharing it is people will start talking. That's what I want. Particularly if people are saying, I don't want to vote for Larry Sharpe. I'm going to vote for Lee Zeldin. I'm going to vote for Kathy Hochul. Send them this. Take the quiz first, man. Take the quiz. See where you sit. See where you stand. Try that. See what happens. Try that and see, and it will help tremendously. If you want to actually help me out with some cash, I need the money. Of course, I have about a week or so left to throw up a bunch of ads to get people to see me and to write me in. And I'm actually, when I'm going out, I'm handing out a ton of door hangers. People that hang on their doors, get people to actually do it. And you can make a sign if you want to. Please, LarrySharpe.com/donate. Every bit does count. Please do that to help out to the best of your ability. It is valuable. It does matter 100%. Yes. James says, Larry, New York doesn't deserve you. Neither Florida does either, but it's crazy not in the ballot. I agree. Yes, I agree. Yes. Paula says, I did not hear or have not heard Hochul mention anything about net job loss or creation. Why would she? It's just feel-good rhetoric, and we love Micron and nanny state. Yes, absolutely. Yes, 100%. All right, let's see if I can do it. Let's see if I can find some more. Shelley says, state employees are supposed to vote Democrat, and we all know it. That's true. Why she keeps handing out the jobs to them all. Correct. Those Democrats aren't really Democrats, and I'm getting them to write you in. Oh, thank you, Shelley. I appreciate it. I need that. Yes, absolutely. Yes, very important. Yes, thank you so much. That does matter. They're doing it because they're supposed to. Correct. Right? Absolutely, because they're supposed to. Yes. All righty. Patty says, in the how to boil a frog metaphor, we're at the point of feeling the water's too hot. Patty, the thing that you brought up here is important. So much of this time that we've been talking about, is a time where people don't even understand the idea of local people growing anymore. We just assume the answer is government bribes, big business show up, and we're happy that we're getting new jobs instead of trying to make an environment where people can just grow their own jobs on their own. Micron had to grow somewhere. Why didn't it grow here? Because our state is oppressive, right? It grew somewhere. It didn't grow here. It's a big business now. Why didn't it become a big business here? No one seems to ask that question. It's just we can bribe people to bring them here. That's the problem. So yeah. Bobby says, our children and grandchildren will have to pay all the debt back. Yes, and they won't care. No one cares. Yes, you're right. Well, remember, she's wealthy. So that's the most important piece. Remember how I tease you about wealthy people? And I tell you about how they think and where they are? If you're wealthy, you know what I'm talking about. If you deal with people, you know what I'm talking about. She's acting like she's all poor. She's not poor. She's wealthy. She's fine. She's totally fine. Absolutely. So, all right, let's see here. Captain Morgan LP says, Larry, what kind of impact would there be if New York loosened regulations and set up a soldier to civilian transition program out of Fort Drum? That would cost $5.5 billion. I agree. I think that kind of thing would be very helpful, particularly if you take both the enlisted and the officer class and almost make them separate in a way. I think you do see there's a difference between the two. In general, you want to focus some of the enlisted class, particularly on things like franchises and stuff like that. You'll watch an entrepreneur program grow completely. The glory of most people who come out of the military, not all, is that if you give them a goal and say go, they will go. They will show initiative once you tell them what hill to take. Places like companies like franchises and such are brilliant because the franchise gives them a structure and they know how to just go. So I think that kind of thing would help tremendously and would cost virtually nothing because the franchisors would love to get those types of people. So yes, right. I think that would work tremendously. So, Craig says Western state municipalities are fighting over water rights and request that the water board create magical water credits. No joke. Those support jobs are the same thing. Correct. Absolutely correct. Yes, I agree. My throat's starting to bug me. I apologize. So, all right, I'm grab a couple more of these if I can. Nate says, canvassing the other day, had a guy tell me he had to vote for Hochul because his boss told him to. This is literally what Nate, thank you. This is literally what I was telling you. She hands out jobs. She's handing out cash to construction workers, to union jobs. She's handing out jobs to people who do the concession work. She's handing out jobs. And those guys go, this money came because of Hochul. You need to go vote for her. That's what they're actually saying. I'm not making that up. Thank you, Nate, for saying that. Yes. I asked who his boss was. He said, Halbritter. He loves money. Democrats hand him. Yes. God, I wish I was wrong. Look, I say this to you guys, and I bring it to your attention because I want you to understand how the system works. And if I get to that governor's mansion and I start talking trash, you guys can all point the finger at me and say, wait a minute, Larry, this is crap you said about her and him. You can call me, and you can call me out, right? You can call me right out. And maybe you'll be able to, and I'll be corrupt and you'll throw me out. And what did the other guy say? You can just throw me out? Yeah, you'll throw me out. You won't need term limits. I'll agree to term limits, but you won't even need them because you just throw me out anyway. Bill will be right, and you'll throw me out. But in any case, that's why I do this. I want you to see it and understand what's actually happening. Understand that I do understand how the system works, and we should be following the money. These people don't care about you. They don't. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. But you might go, that Larry, that makes them evil. No, it doesn't. It makes them apathetic. And what you keep hearing me do is talking about not being mad at the player, but being mad at the game. Change the game, you'll have better players. Change the environment, you'll have better outcomes. Better environment, better outcome. I want people to be incentivized to do the right thing. Right now, the system incentivizes them to do the wrong thing. So they do. It's kind of that simple. If we incentivize people to do the wrong things, they do the wrong things. If we incentivize them to do the right thing, they do the right thing. As crazy as that sounds. Guys, I hope you're enjoying your Friday night. Please do so. I will be in Rochester, not at 11. I'll be there at 2. Doors open at 1. I will see you in Rochester. If you can be there, please head out there. I'll see you then. Then I will be in Utica at 6. So Rochester at 2, Utica at 6. Some places at Sunday, I forgot when, but I'll be there. I know I will be there. Somewhere in Delaware County, I think. Yes, I'll be in Delaware County and then in Westchester County. Yes, that's where I'll be. Delaware County, Westchester County. I'll be there on Sunday. So I'll see you guys then. Guys, have a great